'Twas in the spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, Lord, she went away. And now she's gone, and I don't worry, Lord, I'm sitting on top of the world. She called me up from down in El Paso. She said, come back, Daddy, ooh, I need you so. And now she's gone, and I don't worry, Lord, I'm sitting on top of the world. If you don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree and get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. And now she's gone, and I don't worry, Lord, I'm sitting on top of the world. And don't you come here running, holding out your hand. I'm gonna get me a woman like you got your man. But now she's gone, and I don't worry, Lord, I'm sitting on top of the world. 'Twas in the spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, Lord, she went away. And now she's gone, and I don't worry, Lord, I'm sitting on top of the world.
Hello, hello. It's my patented Cyber Squeak live stream hours at 12, almost 12:30 at night. Noon 30, but in reverse. It's been a bit. It's mostly just me been working that fucking job. It's mostly been me working and then just trying to figure out what I want to stream. For a while, I was like super into the boogie drama, which I do still want to cover at some point. But I don't know. I like this. The Sarah Boone trial happened, and I was like, I want to wait until that's finished so I can go through it. I'm not really much into like Lauren stuff anymore. Like I'll still like joke about it and like hang out in the Discord server and stuff. It's been hard, trying to figure out what I want to do, and I'll sit and like want to start a stream and then just not feel up for it. But today I was like, fuck, I really want to live stream. We got Uncle Death, Donde, not intentional. Sad face, things will be a lot better when you quit that goddamn job. But yeah, no, it's, hi Honest! It's been a little bit, but I think I just need a little break. And I know that, like, I don't really owe an explanation, but I don't know. Excuse me, I miss you guys. It's just hard to get into the vibe of it. Dr. Pepper's out. I don't have Dr. Pepper. I just have Coke Zero. Can I please get my Dr. Pepper? Alright, let's see. So, I have the... Let me fix the window capture real quick. Reset. Damn, why didn't that not work? We already, No? Hello? Why won't that... Okay. Hey, little Miss STFU, and your hair's all sweet. A Sarah Boone expert. All right. So, another reason why I wanted to wait is because this is 8 hours. I don't want to sit and watch 8 hours. So, we have timestamps. We got timestamps down here. So, that'll be much more succinct, and I guess we can see like the highlights without missing too much of the actual trial. I've seen a little bit of the trial. Like, I mean, I know the verdict. I know she was found guilty. And I watched her testify on the stand. I've seen part of the opening statement. I really, like, I know my initial plan was I wanted to live stream this, like, as it was happening, but I'm glad I waited, because it's, ooh, I get to sit, like, discover it with you guys. Hi, Ruben. You might hear Ruben occasionally. He's wondering why I'm not feeding him right now. Okay, and then I also have, oh shit, that fucks up the, you can tell I'm rusty. I also just have, like, I'm gonna put this little game I've been playing. It's called web fishing, and it's very fun. And I'm just gonna, like, put it in the corner as just, like, general, like, ambience. Let's see, game capture, web fishing. It's also multiplayer, so, like, I don't know if y'all wanna play funny little fish game. I'm just gonna put it, like, over here. I'll put it, like, up here. No. I'll put it down here over the Law and Crime logo. Not that I want to, like, be like, fuck you, Law and Crime, but if their logo is down there, then I'm assuming that the, not gonna miss too much down there. Alright. Let's get fucking started. We are starting with the prosecution's opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen, what the evidence in this case is going to show you.
Oh, right, the volume's really wonky. So, that was one thing I saw complaints about, was the volume is kind of wonky. So let me... There we go.
This defendant zipped Jorge
Hey, Page Master.
George Torres shot in a suitcase. She was able to do this because at the time of his death, he only weighed 103 pounds.
So, I'm gonna try to not be annoying with my commentary, but, hey, Mittens Romney! So, I just, it's very apparent. Hey, Brian C. So, I'm gonna just get this out of the way now. I don't want to, like, disregard Sarah's, like, if Sarah's been abused by George. My personal opinion, though, is that it was very much reactive abuse, because you'll see evidence later how she was abusing him pretty fucking badly, but we'll get there.
She did this with the malicious intent to punish him, and then she went up to sleep and left him to take his final breaths on this earth alone. How many breaths those were, we don't know. The evidence is going to...
And not only, she left, just the fact that she left him alone is horrifying. The fact that he suffocated, it was what, like situational asphyxiation or whatever it's called, like, because you can't expand your chest if you're in close quarters like that. It's just, the whole thing is terrifying. Sarah's demeanor is terrifying. This trial is going to be a lot.
Show that it was at least for about 15 minutes, because there's going to be 2 videos that the defendant herself took of this event. The evidence is going to show George Torres is dead because in this defendant's judgment, he deserved it. Now, the conscious disregard for whether he lived or died.
Yeah, you can go through abuse from someone and still do horrible shit. Exactly. Like I said, I don't want to discount you know, if George really did abuse her, because that's not okay. It's very apparent though that Sarah is just a fucking monster. Hey, Viral.
You will see and hear these videos. What I expect you will hear from a video that began
Oh, it
at
got loud.
11:12 p.m., 45 seconds, on February 23rd, 2020, in Orange County, Florida,
Hold on.
is a suitcase on the ground, face down, with the zippers facing the floor. You will hear Sarah, the defendant will say, "For everything you've done to me." Sarah, "For everything you've done to me." Sarah, "Fuck you."
I'm sorry. It's not funny that she's taunting him and saying "fuck you." It's funny that the prosecutor is like, "Fuck you." Something about that is really funny. Fuck you.
And then the defendant laughs. Sarah, "Fuck you." And the defendant laughs. Sarah, "Stupid." Sarah, "That's my name. Don't wear it out." Sarah, "I can't fucking breathe, baby. Seriously." "Yeah, that's what you do when you choke me." Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. The defendant laughs again. Sarah, "I can't breathe, babe." She laughs again. "That's on you." Sarah, "I can't breathe."
Hey, evil
She
little
laughs
nuggets.
again. Unintelligible words. And I would submit the evidence is going to show, because of the intoxication from alcohol, is the next thing she says. Sarah, 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 "I can't breathe, baby." "That's what I feel like when you cheat on me." Sarah, "Fuck you." "I can't fucking breathe, Sarah." "You should probably shut the fuck up." Sarah, "Shh," is the last thing you will hear the defendant say to Mr. Torres as he is face down, zipped shut, in a suitcase. That, again, began at 11:12:45 and lasts just over 2 minutes.
Right? It's like, you know, he's like saying it from his fucking soul. Oh, fuck you.
At 11:23 and 3 seconds p.m., there's a second 22-second video, and it's
Hey, Duchess.
the defendant zooming in on the suitcase. And all you hear during this 22 seconds, after he's been in this suitcase since at least 11:12 p.m., is one more time, Sarah. How did we get to this point where 103-pound George Torres
Oh, I gotta turn it back up. Hold on.
gets put into this suitcase, left to die? Well, the next morning, the defendant wakes up, late morning, perhaps early afternoon, somewhere in this time range, several hours later. And she goes downstairs, and she doesn't see George anywhere, just Torres, and eventually realizes, oh my God.
Also, sorry for like the video, like the audio quality. There's literally not much else I can do because the audio and the opening, they walk around a lot, so.
The first thing,
Yeah, for real, it was 1 p.m. when she fucking... Well, when she actually did that to George, it was like, what, like 1 in the morning or some shit? What game is this in the corner? This is web fishing. It's like Animal Crossing almost, but like literally all you do is fish. And you can do neat things like, well, you can't hear it because I don't have the audio on, but you can like play guitar. You can it's multiplayer too, so like if anyone else has this game, you can join my lobby, but the corner view is just like I have that because I'm sure people would be like, what the fuck are they doing over there? Because I'm clicking a bunch. I didn't see one Dr. Pepper the entire trial. Well, Callie, she tried to fucking get the motion to let her have snacks. And this bitch is so unserious. She tried to get fucking snacks in her goddamn... I petition for snacks. Like, what?
Now, and I believe you will hear a description by the defendant saying...
The lawyer is a bottle of Coke! I saw that.
At some point she makes that statement. And tries to resuscitate him. Hears gurgling as she presses down on his 103-pound chest, forcing whatever air was trapped in there out, gurgling.
Yeah, this bitch legit... She was like, she requested that she have like extra snacks, like fucking Pop-Tarts and shit. And I'm like, why are you wasting time with this? Your boyfriend is dead. You killed your boyfriend. Yo, real quick side tangent. If you guys haven't heard the jail reports about her, a lot of times Sarah will just like refuse to eat because, I don't know, she wants to be like defiant in some way. And she'll just generally get on people's nerves. But one time she got reprimanded for hoarding 30 slices of American cheese. Like, I guess she felt she wasn't getting enough cheese with her meals, so she just like hoarded them for future consumption. I don't know, but this bitch was hoarding cheese.
Then the next thing she does is she doesn't call 911. She calls Brian Boone. Who's Brian Boone? Well, Brian Boone is her ex-husband. They share a child in common. And this date, February 24th.
Well, no, Nugs, it's not a Mr. Beast lunchly, okay?
2020 is a Monday. A normal work day for most people. School day for their child that they share in common. But after they got divorced, the arrangement was every other weekend, they would co-parent. And that weekend included Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's that free schedule. And then Monday through Tuesdays, their child would be her responsibility. And Wednesdays and Thursdays, their child would be Mr. Brian.
Wait, hold on. Little Miss STFU. My friend went and sat in on the trial. She said the first day, Sarah and her lawyer were fighting about what she was wearing. He yelled, "I told you not to wear that!" Oh my god. I'm not surprised. Like, what's wrong with her? She's gonna have to issue some apologies for that. Hold on. Do I have anything for...
Huh?
I have to reorganize my soundboard. That was the first thing I could find.
So February 23rd, 2020 was a Sunday. And now he's led into Monday, 2020.
You know what? I'm gonna add captions to this. Hold on. I know they're auto-generated. Forgive. But it's better than nothing.
Mr. Boone had been trying actually to contact the defendant
Oh shit, let me move.
sometimes that morning. Because he just wanted to confirm she was going to get her child.
Bunny! Hello. Hello, my love. Wow, and the captions aren't even working! God damn it.
And there had been a history of reliability issues on that issue on her part.
It was a blue suit and looked just like the jail suit. Did she also have giant red shoes and a big red nose? Because she's a fucking clown.
So you will see in the phone record, he calls her, calls her, and calls her. And then she finally calls her back instead of calling 911. And being the nice co-parent that he is, he comes over. It's a short drive, 10 minutes. And as she's explaining to him what the heck is going on, he peeks in through the front door of her townhouse, which allows you a view all the way to the back sliding glass door. You're going to see that her kitchen is off to the right, but there's a doorway that you can see all the way through. And on the back side of the kitchen in the breakfast room area, there's tables and stuff. There's also some blue legs sticking out in view. Brian Boone says, check please. You need to call 911.
I cannot believe this bitch really decided that the best thing was to call her ex-husband. She probably wanted his help, like, covering this up. And Brian, being smart, was like, nah, bitch, I'm leaving. You call 911. I'm gonna go sit in my car.
He doesn't set foot into that townhouse. He does wait outside, though, being the good co-parent that he has been. So now, after having first called her ex-husband, after having first waited for Brian Boone to come over, the defendant makes the 911 call. What you will not hear are tears. You will not hear...
Oh, God damn it. I would turn this down a little bit.
sorrow. You will hear a certain level of concern. My boyfriend and I were playing last night. Put him in a suitcase, and we were playing hide-and-seek kind of thing. I fell asleep. Found him dead in the suitcase this morning. I don't know what happened. He had blood coming out of his mouth. Don't know if it was an aneurysm.
Sarah's playing tic-tac-toe? Are you fucking kidding me? This bitch! Was she playing tic-tac-toe by herself? Like, what was she doing?
Pulled him out of the suitcase, tried to give him CPR. He was in the suitcase and I fell asleep. He's not awake, he's purple, he's not breathing. There's some instructions about how to do CPR given to her, asking about whether an AED is available to shock his heart. It's too late. He's cold, he's stiff, he's purple. We were playing hide and seek. We were playing hide and seek. This is horrible. This is horrific what happened. Like, what happened? We were playing hide and seek last night and I
What happened? That fucking 911 call. What happened? You put him in a suitcase, stupid. She lost
asleep.
herself.
So she mentions that there was blood coming out of his mouth. And his body, like all bodies in suspicious deaths, was taken to the 9th District Medical Examiner's office and autopsy.
Right, honest? Like, I don't know. Maybe he had an aneurysm or something. What happened? Like, what happened? Right! Who calls their ex-husband? Hey, Zachy. Who the fuck calls their ex-husband for this instead of calling the cops? This is just so fucking weird. And then when she's trying to do CPR on him in the phone call, and she's like, ah! He just gurgled! Like, bitch, you killed a man! Take this seriously!
What the doctor found was what you would expect after being left in a suitcase, crumpled up in the fetal position. He passed from positional asphyxiation, meaning like you're not going to get full breaths when you're crumpled up like an accordion, and environmental suffocation. You don't have to have a
There's environmental suffocation, that's it. Why did I think situational suffocation? I don't fucking know.
plastic bag over your head, tape shut with a full roll of duct tape to seal it off 100% and be worthy of the vacuum of space to environmentally suffocate. It's close enough if you can't get the oxygen and the CO2 coming in and out of your environment. But she also did notice, yeah,
It's a good day. We had a good day. She likes to use that a lot too. It's what was it? In one of the like videos where she got George arrested for domestic violence, she used that too. And it was like really just off-putting because yeah. Probably Uncle Death, cuz that in her opinion would be the easiest thing, and she like loves to blame shit on Brian for some reason. Ma'am, do CPR and count. I am. And then she's just sitting there, and then she gets mad that he wants her to count, and it's like, bitch, you. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
suffered from blunt force trauma on his torso and his face.
Oh, and blunt force trauma. It is so much worse than I had guessed. My guess was she put him in the suitcase and threw him down the stairs. No, it's so much worse.
Mouth. She'll use words like contusion. Will help her explain contusions and bruises. She'll use words like hematomas. Will help her understand for you all that means bleeding under the skin and blood. What you expect from a bruise. That's why they're running you. But he had all this additional trauma. He had trauma on his fingers as well. So now, the sheriff's office, Orange County Fire Rescue show up, and the defendant interacts with the first patrol officer. You will see and hear that body-worn camera. And it's more of the same of what we heard on the 911 call.
Yeah, I just like kind of poked his hand to go back in the suitcase. Ma'am, bitch, you just admitted that you wanted him to stay in the suitcase. That's murder.
I see. It was good. I fell asleep. I don't know what happened. A few hours later, the detectives from the homicide unit of the Orange County Sheriff.
Yeah, Bunny. Spoiler alert. She there's evidence that she hit him with a metal baseball bat while he was in there.
Office approach her and are ready to interview her after doing some initial things, which includes grabbing her cell phone off of a counter that was found at a suitcase in Mr. Torres, and giving it to one of their digital forensic examiners, who we'll hear from later in the trial.
I apologize for the audio. I don't think I can make it any louder, so that's why I'm like keeping my little mouth shut right now.
But it's time to give a first interview with the defendant. So they do a first interview with the defendant in one of their unmarked detective patrol cars there on the scene. And the basics of this remain the same, but there's a little more elaboration, as you would expect from trained detectives versus getting the 911 call taken. But the basics of what the defendant tells them is, we had wine.
Imagine feeling nothing, listening to your partner begging for their life, actually laughing. Right? Not only that, being like, fuck you, stupid. Like, he's dying. You're letting him die. George's brother is there, and my friend says he's the nicest guy and is still so upset about this. That's another thing that has me, like, a little... I find interesting is... And, I mean, obviously, domestic violence is complex, and people can act differently than they do with their loved ones. But, George's ex-wife said that he was never violent towards her. George's children said that he was never violent. There's a lot of people who say that he didn't have violent tendencies until him and Sarah got together.
We painted, we drew, we did puzzles. The particular wine we had was a Chardonnay from the Woodbridge winery. The bottles, plural, are in the trash. We started about 4 p.m. after Mr. Torres went to the store. Puzzles, art, listening to music, enjoying each other's company. We were literally just enjoying one another's company. The other bottle of wine that was left over from Bohr wasn't even half full, so the description she is saying is 1 bottle of wine and plus a fraction of a bottle of wine.
Yeah, honestly, Eel, I know what you mean. When I saw, I've already watched a little bit of the opening statement of the prosecutor, and I was like, this courtroom is very small. Yeah, Sarah's ex-husband said, I remember when the cops were interviewing him, and he was like, yeah, she likes to like use her claws on me, and like since she's so small, I really didn't do anything, and what didn't hurt that bad. And I was like, oh my god, she abused you, sir. Are you okay, Brian?
Left over from the night before. Ladies and gentlemen, not all bottles of wine are made the same. Many of us may envision what you would expect at a restaurant. Those are $7.50.
I haven't actually seen the bottles of wine. Y'all were expecting like, standard restaurant bottles. No, apparently these are massive bottles of wine.
750 milliliters of that. Bottles of wine that were recovered from the defendant's trash can were 1.5 liters.
Oh my god! Almost 2 liters of wine? Y'all know what a 2 liter of soda looks like. Now that with what? Oh my god.
The equivalent of 2 standard bottles of wine. A 1.5 liter bottle of wine is 50 ounces. Given that a standard serving of wine is 5 ounces, you can begin to do the math.
A bucket of wine?
Here's receipts. The day before, Saturday, February 22nd, 2020, there is a receipt from Publix for a bottle of Woodbridge wine for $9.74.
Why did Sarah just draw a line on her paper? Now little Miss STFU, now that you mentioned she was playing tic-tac-toe, I'm like watching her. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you drawing over there?
And then Sunday at 12:17 p.m., there is another receipt for $9.74 for a Woodbridge Chardonnay bottle of wine. And then at about 5:30 in the afternoon on February 23rd, again, there is another receipt for the same bottle of wine for the same
bottles in normal size versus alcoholic size. Why is that so true?
price. And those 2 bottles of wine were recovered. They're going to be produced to you in evidence, and you will see that they are, in fact, Magnum bottles of wine.
Magnum.
So that's the context that we're dealing with when we hear things like, we only had 1 bottle of wine, and we finished what was left in the bottle of wine from before. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's 2 1.5 liters that apparently were consumed by a 103-pound man, and the defendant...
3 liters of wine. Jesus Christ. That is so much wine.
Who is in the same weight class. Plus, if you believe that the defendant and the decedent would leave leftover wine from any given day, any additional wine that was remaining from the 1.5 liters from Saturday.
Magnum wine for my monster liver.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of wine. So in that context, we were just having wine, enjoying each other's company. At one point, we play hide and seek. She says she didn't zip it up all the way. There was enough room, and her words again, there was enough room for...
Yeah, George was only 103 pounds. Sarah claims that she was 98, I think. Something like that. But yeah, no, George was tiny. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he almost looked emaciated.
His little fingers to get out. We were still having a good time and whatever. And basically...
I believe it would behoove everyone in the courtroom to conduct a taste testing of the wine in question. Ooh, do you think she's like struggling because she hasn't been able to drink?
You know, Mr. Torres is stressing out about jobs, his ex-wife, about money. And so they're just doing puzzles and doing things to keep his mind off of it. Doing art, playing with the dogs, dancing with the dogs, playing hide and seek. We were always trying to outdo each other where we could find each other the
George
best.
was from the South.
When they started playing hide and seek, she went up to the shower and then got tired of hanging out in the shower and came down, and that's when she found him playing around in the suitcase. We both thought it was funny. I'm going to zip you up. 2 little fingers could stick out. And she went upstairs thinking, he'll get out, we're going to have sex and go to sleep and call it a day. It was a
Ew, I don't... Gross. Sarah, that's gross.
good day.
According to Sarah, she only drinks because George... No fucking way. Brian said that they met... First off, she would get drunk all the fucking time. And then she met George via, like, drinking at a bar or some shit like that. Like, shut up, Sarah. No one's buying it. Who is having sex with her? Yeah. Are you having sex with the suitcase, ma'am? Like, what do you...
She insists that they had wine, but we're not drunk. You will be able to assess that for yourselves when you hear the recording she made. No ill will between us last night.
Get drunk.
Last argument, maybe last week. Don't really argue. We came home, drink, smoke, did art, listen to music, play with the dogs. We drink what we can afford. We used to be able to afford liquor, but now we can only afford wine. And that's how that day ends with the police. She goes and sleeps and stays at her ex-husband's house the night of February 24th.
Brian, buddy, why are you letting her sleep there? Brian is so much kinder than I could ever be. Oh, my tattoo is itchy. Oh, yeah, I got a tattoo. That's, like, new. I forgot to tell y'all I got a tattoo. And it's itchy. And I have to, like, not scratch it. Or, like, what I've been doing is I've been, like, rubbing the back of my nails on it.
What they are doing, and by they I mean the Orange County Sheriff's Office, in part, is going through her phone. That's when they discovered the 2 videos that I just described for you.
This bitch really gave up her phone.
And there's other things in the phone, which I will discuss with you in a little bit. But she's summoned in for another interview, and she sits down and gives another interview on February 25th, now Tuesday. She does describe past instances of violence. You're going to hear about that. She's going to say, Mr.
It is. It's Snake and the Doom Slayer, the Doom guy. She said if she was an alcoholic, she would have asked for what? Does Sarah think that alcoholics only drink alcohol? Like they don't have other tastes? This bitch is so dumb.
Torres had hit her with a curtain rod about a month ago. Since then, though, like we've been good. I've been good. She describes that he comes at her all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or I try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. I don't know if you talk to Brian, her husband, about any of that, but most of the time I flee and I go over there. There's a discussion about why she stays with him, and you'll hear that for yourself. She will say that she doesn't really want to drink. She just takes an occasional drink. She drinks to placate him, Mr. Torres.
Bitch, are you saying he's making you drink? I drink for him. I'm so selfless that I drink for George. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
She says that you're going to see phone videos of Mr. Torres smashing her TV in the past, like a month earlier. You may see that too. But she doesn't get drunk. When she drinks, she likes being non-compos mentis. Her words, not mine.
Her words, not mine.
Having her wits about herself. Then she gets to the hide and seek again and describes that they've played it 3 times before, but had never zipped one another shut in it before. And they were
Non compos mentis. Her words, not mine. This man is so good.
really just running out of places to hide because it's just a townhome. She does not remember, according to her, she does not remember taking any photos or videos of the night's events. At this point, they ask her, well, would you like to see it? And she says, I can't watch this.
See you, Zachy.
I flipped him over, and that's where it was. Guys, this is killing me right now.
I still can't get over her saying this is killing me right now after literally killing a man.
That's why I flipped it over between the 2 videos. I didn't do anything intentional. Discussion over whether he had enough room to get any of his fingers out from the zipper. My intention was not to leave him there. We both got in there. Both of us were in there. When she went upstairs, my plan was not to, quote, he'll be up here any minute. My plan wasn't to leave him in the suitcase. Why is all this going on? It's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought he was okay. Guys, that's how we were with each other. Nobody understands our relationship. This whole suitcase thing never happened before, though she described it happening before. I'll never drink alcohol again.
Right? We're at the roast of Sarah Boone, and her prize is a prison sentence.
She insists that she has no injuries on her, and you don't have to take her word for it, because they took photographs of her, and there were no injuries on her. She insists over and over that there was no violence that day. It's like, okay, we're in a good place right now. Ask her about saying fuck you to Mr. Torres. Well, that's just being playful and having a good day. Everybody's having a good day. I didn't touch him, nor did he touch me. Her words.
Oh, Sarah. Sarah.
We're
having a good day.
What else is found on her phone? There's a conversation between Mr. Torres' brother, and again, nobody knows who's using these phones at the time text messages are sent in these records that you're going to see. But it's indicated that there's a communication between one of the decedent's brothers and the owner of the phone that was taken that belongs to Miss Boone. The text from the brother is, yo, my daughter told me what you did, Sarah. I don't want you around any of my daughters or nieces and nephews. And that's Christmas 2019, just under 2 months before this event. She replies, or the person using her device at this time, ugh, your quote-unquote dad hit me in the face. The next text is, hide and seek, I shall.
Oh, God.
January 13th, there's another heated discussion. She describes it on January 13th in a text to Mo, the brother again. It's a Torres thing. Boo. Sends a picture. Keep the fugly creep out too. It's still fugly. Lose. The brother responds, please do something with yourself, Sarah. God bless you.
Please do something with yourself, Sarah. She was being a fucking menace. My God.
The defendant's response, and bless you and all of you too. I'll get, in all capitals, rid of him. Then it'll be, in all capitals, better.
Oh, no.
Ugh. Torres. Referring to Mr. Torres. Getting rid of.
Yeah, God bless you. He was done.
And that's the case. That's what the evidence is going to show. But we, the state of Florida, and the members of the jury in our journey through this case, we're all...
Yo, honest, fucking, at one point, she told, so remember, Sarah's like, his family hates me. They call me the white dragon, the white devil. Reminder, she told, his brother that George beat her, and his brother's reaction was to beat George.
I'm going to come up to a door that says, danger, keep out, stay away, by court order. And that door says, the defendant's history with the victim. It is a door we shall not enter without permission and invitation. Halloween in like 13 days. Part of the vampire lore is vampires can't come get you in your own house. Why? Participate during this trial.
Why he talking about vampires?
We're going to be invited in to the defendant's past relationship for the previous couple of years with these two courts. And as we come inside this room,
Little Miss STFU, close. There's something called a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So when she was calling herself like the Blue Eyes White Devil, I was like, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Reference. But that's different than Pokemon.
at her beckoning, we are going to have things pointed out that she would like us to focus on. And you're going to hear the first night the defendant met the decedent, Mr. Torres, he smashes her phone, punches her. It's the first time in her life she'd ever been punched, I expect the testimony to be. And he made her curl up in a fetal position on her own porch for 4 hours, and she was only able to escape this situation when he fell asleep. I expect that you're going to hear that Mr. Torres is an alcoholic. I expect you may hear his high score on his blood alcohol level was a 342 once when he got treated at the hospital.
High score, like a fucking gaming high score.
This is a man who had serious alcohol problems, and I expect you're going to hear about that. Despite that first date, and this is going to tie into some other things that I expect could possibly come in. Despite that first date, despite at that point in time of this first date not having a relationship, emotional ties, and the things that come along with a relationship that make it harder to break off a relationship, it's one thing to have a bad first date. It's another thing to end a 25-year marriage. Despite that first date, there's a second and a third. Now, these dates are at bars, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it just typically ends up...
Sarah Boone lying, Little Miss SCFU? No way. What? No way. She's a fucking clown.
She's going to tell you, I suspect, or you're going to hear that she said one way or another. It's one thing or the other. Like, I ask a dude for a cigarette, Mr. Torres flips out, and I'm going to pay the price. Just things like that. You're going to hear and potentially see, yes, there were injuries that the defendant is going to attribute to the victim causing her. Black eyes, cuts in the face, perhaps from the curtain rod incident that was mentioned in the police interview happening about a month before this. Bloody ear. A stab wound in the leg.
Yeah, probably, Uncle Death. Though I do like the term nuclear level racist shit. You know she was saying some awful shit. Those are law students. Oh, okay. That's interesting that they just let them, like, that's how they're, studying up there.
which is perhaps described as sword fighting and playing around in medical weapons. But nonetheless, I suspect you're going to hear and see a lot about their past history. And at the end, if this occurs, if this comes in, the state is going to have the opportunity to take lead of the tour in this room labeled the defendant and the victim's past history. And I'm not going to go into that now. If this all comes to fruit, the blooms on the tree during the trial, we'll discuss it at the end where it's more appropriate.
I need to see Sarah's notepad.
But I'm asking you to not rush to judgment until you hear all of the evidence in the case. And then apply whether or not these past instances have anything to do.
She probably was bringing out slurs that we've never even heard before. Right? Okay. An instance of this. I was watching on TikTok. There's a guy who likes to make fun of people who like to be like, oh, video games are woke. And the dude he was making fun of, one of the insults he said about it was a black character and like an Asian character. And he was like, these characters don't look like they're about to go on an undersea adventure. They look like they work at Starbucks. And I was like, this is like some quantum theory racism that I've never heard before. What?
With what happened on February 23rd. Now, like a home inspector, there are experts to come in and kind of help walk everybody through this room labeled the defendant and the victim's past relationship. I suspect there's a chance you may hear from some experts, psychologists and psychiatrists, about battered spouse syndrome. The state is not challenging in any way that battered spouse syndrome exists. It's well recognized. The experts will tell you all about it. Not disputing that at all. But there's some things that we would hope that you pay attention to during all the testimony, if there is any, about this subject matter. One is that it's not actually a recognized diagnosis in the Bible that they use in mental health called DSM-5-TR. Diagnostic Statistical Manual, version 5, and I think it's text revision.
Her paper is full of anime eyes.
What it is, and what they describe it as,
The like single hyper realistic eyeball drawing that everybody does on a piece of paper.
is kind of a component of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. But because it's not actually in the book, it's like a recipe book. It's like our statute books for lawyers. You go into this book and say you have a particular disorder or diagnosis. It'll say, well, all of us agree that it means these three elements, like elements of crime. Some of these elements have to be prevalent for a certain amount of time, so on and so forth. You imagine it's a cookbook. It gives you the recipe for a diagnosis. But because it's not in the cookbook, you may get some disagreement about what it means between experts, because it's kind of like grandma's recipe and
A street shitter? That is... Sometimes the, like, levels that racists go to say this kind of shit, like, blows me away. Like, who even thinks of that? What the fuck?
down from generation to generation without being right. But what I expect you'll hear is, it's important for people who don't have experience in certain abusive relationships that are violent to understand the control that can be exerted over an intimate partner by the other one, isolation psychological violence, emotional violence, physical violence, sexual violence, which I suspect will be described for you as well.
Oh God. Is Sarah oh God. Well, buckle up, because we might have to hear graphic descriptions of sexual assault. I don't know.
Perpetrated on her by the decedent. You'll hear about all this. And what it ties into, at the end of the day, after we talked about this during jury selection, is if there is a self-defense instruction read to you, this is to help you understand what an objective and reasonable person in the circumstances would do. Because years ago, we've gotten better as a society. But years ago, when this was first being researched, the question would be, well, why don't you leave? And battered spouse syndrome.
Okay, so he's going into like the definition of battered spouse syndrome, I guess.
Well, it's not that easy. You got to look at what's going on in the relationship, the isolation, control, so on and so forth. And that explains why you wouldn't leave. Well, now, but turning to the facts of our case.
My prediction is that, like, this man just described battered spouse syndrome better than the entirety of Sarah's defense team.
What you're going to decide the facts are is ordinary, objective, reasonable person in those circumstances taking those actions if you get a self-defense instruction as part of that. That's what it's used for. It's not used for explaining the subjective beliefs that one holds.
Who just coughed directly
What
into the
people
microphone.
also hear about these things is, just like any other doctor or any expert,
I have a feeling I know what's in one of them. I feel like that big one in the back is... Well, no, I feel like that might be too big for the suitcase, because the suitcase is small, from what I remember. I recognize the one, like, cylinder back there, though. I'm pretty sure that's the bat.
home inspector. If a home inspector's report was based solely on the person who's trying to sell the house, what they say about the house, great shape. I rewired the entire thing. Brand new JVC pipes. This sucker's good to go. I agree with this. You're not going to take that home inspector's report unless they lift the hood, take the tires, do all the things that the Fox on Carfax does. You want an expert to get reliable information. An expert's opinion is only as good as the information that he or she relies on. They will say, yeah, you gotta take into account the credibility of the person who's giving you the story, even if it's the patient or the client that is saying all these things happen to her. You got to find proper information. You got to check reliability, particularly in circumstances that we discussed.
Okay, homie.
Another thing that they're going to tell you is just because there's a bunch of violent nonsense going on between two intimate partners doesn't mean that spouse syndrome applies. Some people can go home and fight like cats and dogs. And that's just their day, and they get over it. They live their life and fight another day. Their cycle just spins like that.
This man is very good, but I feel like he's going a little bit on a tangent. Just my opinion.
So just because you hear about those things, what the experts will tell you, it doesn't mean that it necessarily applies. If this testimony comes in, I expect that Dr. Harper will say that it applies to Ms. Boone. But we'll talk to her about what she relied upon to make that conclusion. We'll talk to her about some other things and take that journey together to get there. But at the end of the day, after you hear all of the evidence in this case, particularly straight from the horse's mouth to the video, where you don't have to rely upon the credibility of anything other than your own two eyes and your own two ears, the state admits that you're going to return a guilty verdict for second-degree murder. What the evidence is going to show is that the defendant killed Mr. Torres.
All right, cool. Reeled it back in.
Because she decided he deserved it.
Pun intended, because I'm
Not
playing a
because
fishing
the
game.
evidence will show
Thank you, Mr.
All right. Let's get the... Hold on. Oh, did I not put the... Hold on. Okay. Let's get to the
Jay.
defense attorney. Defense's opening statements. James Owens. Hi, Ruben. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Mr. Ruben. Are you going to watch the trial? Are you going to watch the trial? He wants his dinner. All right. Defense time.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Appreciate y'all being here. I was introduced before. My name is James Owens, and I represent Sarah Boone, along with Tony Henderson and Kevin Gray.
Sir, I cannot hear you.
Now, this is going to be a several-day trial. Obviously, today, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. We're not sure,
I just straight up cannot hear this man.
but trying to make arrangements for witnesses to find expert witnesses and whatnot, and we'll know more probably.
All I can hear is the fucking person typing. She never meant to do it. Hold on, is there a way I can boost this? See if I can boost this bitch. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Give me a hot second. I'm trying to get like a... I used to have an extension that would boost the audio. Let's get this one. Alright, add to Firefox, add... Okay. And... Did this work? Let's see. 154, that's where we're at. Where is this damn... Sorry, I'm having a senior moment. Permissions, okay. So why is it not working? Oh, baby, what the fuck? This is not televised, but on the last day, both sides were fighting because they found Sarah gave rights to her story to Owens. Oh my fucking god. This bitch... Ruben, everybody says hi. Ruben. Big yawn. Okay, sorry. Let's see if I can figure out what the fuck I'm doing. Boost. I literally downloaded an extension for this, and now it's not. That's sponsor block. That's D-arrow. Where the hell is this one? 2x button next to the settings button of the YouTube player. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Hold on. Almost there. Almost there. I think I got it. Hey, Night Driver. Only way she could pay him, I bet. Yeah, she can't profit. How much you want to bet he's gonna give her money for it, though? Like, if he makes money off of it, he's just like, oh, I'm giving you a gift for your books, and it's just the money she made.
This is going to be a several-day trial. Obviously, today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're not sure.
I tried. I'm sorry, guys, that you're not gonna be able to hear him, but I literally went and downloaded an extension to make him louder, and I can't fucking hear him still. But we'll do our best.
But we're trying to make arrangements for witnesses to fly in, expert witnesses and whatnot, and we'll know more probably within the day or within Monday, so we can plan. But I know your focus is on this case because you took a note to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no higher call than to ride alone. No higher call than to ride alone. And we're going to ask you again to write the story. And find Sarah Boone not guilty because she was justified in the force that she used to defend herself.
So you just said she was justified in the force she used to defend herself. Alright, if you want to go with that.
If that force was reasonable under the circumstances that existed between Sarah Boone
Oh
and
shit!
George
Hold on. They decided to fix it after I spent all that time.
Torres. Sarah Boone and George Torres were down and out, as you can be. Their life centered around alcohol. Both of them suffered from, used to be called alcoholism, now it's called alcohol abuse.
I thought that Sarah only drank because George wanted her to. Her own defense attorney is already fucking this up.
Syndrome. And so day to day, they struggle with the use of alcohol. You can imagine that. It affected their jobs. It affected keeping employment.
Affected their
It
job.
affected even getting a job.
Yeah, reminder, Sarah didn't have a fucking job. She just leached off of Brian with alimony. And she had the audacity to get mad when Brian filed to get her alimony taken away. Because he's like, I'm not fucking paying for her anymore. She's in jail.
As codependent as you can be towards each other.
I don't know, man. I don't think that's codependency. Like, maybe in a fucked up kind of way, but I don't think that's like the traditional codependency.
And you're going to learn with all that was domestic violence. And that George Torres physically abused Sarah Boone.
You know, I'm kind of surprised that Sarah gave him the rights to her story, considering I wouldn't say he failed to represent her, but like in her opinion, she probably, like, since she's a narcissist, it's not her fault, it's like everyone else's fault, so it has to be her lawyer's fault, right? He looks like if someone left Mike Pence in a bath for too long. He really does.
And she suffered from the effects, the psychological effects that one suffers from repeat violence from an intimate partner. They were together over 3 years, and there were several prior incidences of violence. We've got the photographs. There were incidences where police were called.
Okay, one thing I do remember from watching this is when The defense spent like 30 minutes arguing that they should be allowed to show the photos of Sarah with like a black eye or something like that.
Took photographs. So you're going to be able to see the evidence. And we believe the court will instruct you at the end when you're considering self-defense, which we call justifiable use of non-deadly force or justifiable use of deadly force, that you can consider the prior acts, the history of violence, the prior difficulties that the parties had. And considering her set of circumstances that she was faced with in making the decision to use reasonable force under the circumstances. And the most important thing I can tell you here today is keep an open mind. There's two sides to every story. You're going to hear the state's side, them attempting to paint her a certain way, as they've done here today in opening statement. And then you're going to hear another side. And you're going to have to weigh that. All the evidence, the credibility of the witnesses, the photographs, the videotapes, and come to a conclusion.
Listen, I'm gonna just say, this man had an uphill battle, but Jesus Christ, he had to have been expecting like notoriety from this, right? Oh my God.
Now let's talk about this day, February 23rd of 2020, the date of this event. This case has been pending for some time. Here we are, October of 2024.
Gee, I wonder why the case has been pending.
I think the evidence is going to show that they had purchased some wine the day before, but they hadn't finished all of that. So it was in the refrigerator. Many times that's how they start their day. At some point, you're going to see a video from Publix.
Right? This man isn't getting paid. Like, huh?
From where they live. I believe it's Winter Park. But Publix was not too far from their apartment complex. And they took their car, they drove over there. So you're going to see a videotape from Publix of them both going in the store about noon, and they come out with one of those larger bottles of the wine, and then of course there's a receipt, and the bottles are in the garbage can. Of course, there obviously is an attraction between the two.
What?
And as everybody knows, couples can have great times where things click, everybody gets along, and then we can have episodes of disagreement.
Listen, sir, I know you're trying to defend her because that's your job. That's what you signed up for. I've been married for almost 3 years at this point. Like, my wedding anniversary is at the end of the week. And I've disagreed with Mr. Squeak plenty, but it has never become like that kind of point of contention. Like, sir, Sarah, honest, I love when you come to the streams because you always say the funniest fucking shit I've ever heard. Looks like a 2-year-old drew her from memory. And you're right. You're not wrong.
And how are those resolved? Really, is what this is about.
See you, Uncle Death.
How are disagreements resolved? But George was very jealous of Sarah. And you're going to hear the testimony about that. And that he cannot, in certain situations, He can be very charming. But when his level of intoxication gets
Sarah is just gonna pull a Trump and be like, look at that, look at my African American.
to a certain level is when he gets sad, moody, and a lot of times eventually it involved forcible sex with Sarah Boone
Ooh.
or actual physical violence against her.
Yikes. I really hope that's not the case.
They bought the wine. It's a simple life. They don't have much money. But they both like art. They did that for a while. They both like puzzles. They did that for a while.
Not this man actually bringing up puzzles! This man actually bringing up the puzzles!
Well, about 5 or so, the wine bottle was gone. And George had said, I want to go get some cigarettes. So there's a convenience store right close by their apartment complex, and Sarah thought he was just going to walk over there and get cigarettes and come back. But no, what he did was he got her keys, he got her debit card, and he went over to the Publix and he got another bottle. And I think that was about 5:30, something like that. And again, there'll be the Publix video showing him going in, going out, and there'll be a receipt for the purchase of that bottle. And then
Okay.
that bottle.
So, we're seeing him buy a bottle of wine? Like, what is... Like, is he gonna try to say that, like, he forced her to drink the wine? Because she was already pretty, like... It can't... He's trying to say it was a good day. But also say... but also saying that, like, George was, like, abusing her. Been mad at my spouse. Sometimes so mad I could spit, but murder, nah. I'm too pretty for jail and too dumb in real life to cover it up. See, like, I'm just too, like, what's the word? Like, my husband has never really made me mad. Like, annoyed, yeah. Like, I'll be like, why are you doing this annoying thing? But, like, mad? And I'm not saying that, like, if you get mad at your partner, that's not normal, because that's normal. But it's just so, like, it's so jarring for me to hear Sarah, like, the things that she did to this guy and how she treated him. And just in comparison with, like, my own, because, you know, I base a lot of things based on my own personal experience and how I relate to them and stuff like that. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy to think about. Like, I'm baffled that somebody could act this way.
Will be in the garbage can along with the other bottle. Well, when he comes in with the second bottle, Sarah knows this is not good. She knows this means he's going to get to another level of intoxication. So Sarah's concerned. So she attempts to placate him, keep him busy, keep him in a good mood. They drink that bottle.
Had
she
a
drinks as well.
good day.
And at some point, they're intoxicated at a high level. As some people do when they're drunk, they get silly. And they decide to play a game of hide and seek.
This man's really about to talk about the hide and seek, huh? We're really in a court of law talking about the hide and seek.
She goes upstairs, their bedroom's upstairs, to the shower and waits for a period of time. And he doesn't come to her. At some point she gets cold, she gets tired. She wants to go see, well, maybe we got it mixed up. Where is he? So she goes downstairs, and they had gotten a suitcase down a week or so ago. It's an old suitcase that they were going to donate to Helping Hands or Goodwill or somebody, and they were putting some items in there. And it's a broken down suitcase. It's a large suitcase.
Okay, so Sarah is so kind and generous. She's gonna donate her broken suitcase to people in need. Like, gee, thanks, Sarah, for the fucking broken... Ruben. Hey. Stop. You know you're not supposed to be licking plastic. Stop. Sorry. No, just Sarah, of course, like, she can't... Ruben! Hey! Stop that. Stop it. Do I have to put you upstairs in gay baby jail? I'll do it. Do you want to go to gay baby jail? Leave the plastic alone. Yeah, no, like, gee, thanks, Sarah, for fucking donating, like, your shitty, broken suitcase to help people in need.
They both weigh about 100 pounds. And they don't eat good. Malnourished to a large degree. But the pull handle is broken.
Listen, honest, he looks at me. Like, I know he's listening. I know he understands me. He's just a little moody teenage baby man boy and doesn't want to listen.
And they've attached a little paper clip that's got the rubber around it, and that's how they move it back and forth. Well, she comes down the steps, she sees him getting in and settling in the suitcase. So she walks over there, and they see each other, they smile and laugh, and she zips him up. And she zips him up, and they laugh for a while.
Okay, so you just admitted that she zipped it up. Like, even if it was not intentional, I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Great Clouds, you've never heard of gay baby jail? Hold on, I need to Google something. Second degree murder definition. Oh. Typically murder with malicious. Okay, so even though she didn't have malicious, or she didn't premeditate it, it's still murder. It's still, she had malicious intent, and she straight up admits it in the interview that she just wanted to make him squirm. I've had my jaw broken in 3 places by a guy, and I still do not think about it. Jesus, are you alright? Oh. Well, I hope, like, you never have to fucking ever see that person ever again. Jesus. Hey, what are you doing, Ruben? What are you doing? Leave the box alone. I know you're in a very good mood, and I love you, and you're very cute, but I'm watching Sarah Boone be stupid, okay?
And they carry on. She sits on the couch, and at some point he says, "I can't breathe." Now, his face is facing the zipper, and she's got 2 or 3 inches that she's opened it. And she doesn't know. They're intoxicated. She doesn't know whether he's just saying that to try to get her to get him out or what. But he's a captive audience.
No, this motherfucker did not just say he was captive. This motherfucker... You just said he was captive, sir?
Physically, they're the same size, but he's much stronger than her. If they got in a fist fight, he would win 100 times out of 100. But she's got him now. He claims he can't get up. He has to sit and listen. It's a unique form of physical restraint.
Is this man working for the prosecution secretly? Because, like, this is not this is not a good defense.
And so she lets him have it. Says things she shouldn't say. You'll see the video. It's about 2 minutes long. She videotapes it. She sits on the couch and turns her phone on and videotapes it for about 2 minutes. There's another video that's approximately 11 minutes later. The first video, George's, the suitcase is flipped upside down. The zipper's on the bottom. 11 minutes later, Sarah has flipped it right side up. Again, open for him to get out. And it's
So, if he got in it, how is he upside down? Like, the way he's describing this doesn't make sense.
only 22 seconds. And you hear George say Sarah. And that's it. Now, the key to the case is that 11 minutes. And what happened during that 11 minutes. Okay? That is the key to this case. Sarah Boone will take the stand.
God.
She will explain what happened. She will explain
Well, I'm glad you're better, little Miss STFU.
why it happened. The evidence will show that she was justified in the action she took to prevent an attack from George Torres.
So, okay, let me lay this out. So he's saying they played hide and seek, and he got into the suitcase willingly. He got into the suitcase willingly, right? So why is she now self-defending? Why is she afraid for her life? Because Mr. Owens just said that she was just I think he's trying to say that, like, she was trying to say, like, oh, don't, George, like, we really need to, like, work on things, and I wish you wouldn't hurt me, and stuff like that. Okay. Cool, I guess, but why is she suddenly fearing for her life if they're just talking? So she is, at the time of George's murder, she was like 98 pounds or something. She was really small. And George was like 103, 104.
Which the law acknowledges that every one of us has a right to invoke, the right of self-defense.
Again, how did we go from playing hide and seek, haha, to, hey, George, I really need to talk to you, and I think we can work things out, but I don't want you to abuse me anymore, to, I fear for my life, and I have to leave him in the suitcase so I don't die. Like, we're missing something.
You can hear from the medical examiner. She is going to tell you about some bruising on George Torres. Of course, he was in the suitcase a while, deceased, we believe. And that changes things a little bit, as the medical examiner will explain, but there's some bruising. Sarah's going to explain that to you, why that happened, what were the circumstances surrounding that, involving a bat. Her son comes and stays with them from time to time. He has his own room. He has several of his things there.
Okay.
And there's a bat downstairs.
What does that have
The
to do
same
with-
bat that George Torres used, and there's a video. where George is threatening Sarah. And he's swinging the bat at the TV about as hard as he can. And he does it about 6 or 7 times. You'll see it. Sarah's recording it.
Hey, Lauren's Unclimbable Ladder. Because my streaming whims cannot be controlled. I don't make the rules. Sometimes I want to stream and then I don't, and it's like 2 p.m. and I'm like, okay, I don't want to stream anymore. And then sometimes I'll lie awake at like 4 in the morning and be like, God, I really want to stream, but I can't because I have to go to work tomorrow. Hey, Guru.
And it's hearing an argument, and he's trying to intimidate. Sarah loved you. You know, you're going to hear why women don't leave. Why women don't leave. And you're going to hear about Sarah Boone and her struggles, her mental health struggles.
I don't give a fuck about her mental health struggles. Oh, hell yeah. Have fun, like, talking to literally every creature in Baldur's Gate, because, like, every fucking creature has dialogue. Baldur's Gate was just like, Larian was just like, hey, yo, y'all want to talk to, like, a squirrel? Let's fucking go. Oh, I'm in the tree!
Sarah had no intent to kill him. The prosecutor mentioned she wanted him to die. Farthest from the truth. She loved the man. She hated the abuse. She couldn't leave him. She tried. She tried kicking him out 6 or 7 times. He kept coming back. She changed the locks.
He kept coming back because she kept threatening him. Fucking... What? He kept coming back because she had his documents, like, held hostage. She ripped up his birth certificate and basically forced him to come back, and then would call the cops on him.
He kept coming back. She didn't have the family. She didn't have the support. She was weak, vulnerable. You're going to hear it all. You got to take that all into account.
Is the squirrel... No. Are you saying I'm the squirrel, or are you asking if the squirrel is, like, now in Act 1? Because if you go to the Druid Grove, there's a couple squirrel... Oh, there's, like, 1 or 2 you can talk to.
To try to understand what happened.
What happened?
And the circumstances surrounding this tumultuous relationship. Now, you're going to find that Sarah's not perfect.
Oh, boy. She's not fucking perfect.
And, you know, she goes, as many of us do when we drink too much, you know, you sleep in. She slept in. 11, 12.
No, sir. Actually, she admitted that she, like, she woke up at, like, 11 or some shit and, like, stayed in bed till, like, 1. Oh, my God. Hold on. What did I just catch? Hold the fuck on. That. Okay. Oh, I see. Haha. I just caught a whale. This is literally the Okay. I'm gonna just put this guy back in my pocket, I guess.
One somewhere around there.
Hey, Lord's bird phone.
She moseys downstairs looking for George. She thought he was on the computer looking for a job. She looked outside, maybe he's out smoking a cigarette, and she sees the suitcase.
He's still in the suitcase.
She unzips it. She gets him out. He's purple. She tries her best to do some CPR. She freaks out.
Dog.
The only family she's got is her ex-husband. Really. She relies on him. As the prosecutor said, a lot of times she'll flee to her ex-husband's house. And their son is at it.
Which I still think is a little weird. Brian is a nicer man than I could ever be. Ruben, you better not be going over there to get plastic. Hey! Leave your other parents' stuff alone. Don't be playing with power tools.
Lucas. It's the only thing she knows to do. She was kind of a sheltered daughter when she was younger.
Hey,
Smart,
polynomial purebred.
She's not worldly.
You ain't perfect.
She calls Brian. Look, what do I do? He said, I'm coming over.
Call 911, you dumb bitch.
Please come over. He's about 5 minutes away. And she calls him again within a couple of minutes. Yeah, I'm on the way.
Ruben.
He gets there.
Hey!
He walks in the foyer and sees his legs. And she called 911. She calls 911 within a minute, two. Detective Rodriguez arrives. They got the body cam now, so it's recording. So you're going to hear Sarah talking. But Sarah's freaking out. Sarah's thinking, and I'm somehow responsible.
Yeah, bitch, you are. You are directly responsible.
Eventually, she gives a statement to law enforcement. She gives one to Deputy Rodriguez. Of course, she's not the homicide investigator. She's just responding. She's the first responder. And they know what to do. They try to assess the situation. They start putting the tape out. And then they call for the homicide investigators to come, which takes a little time. So she gets a statement from Sarah. Eventually, the homicide detectives get a statement from Sarah and one of the unmarked squad cars. And it's
I wonder if I can catch a tiny whale.
And then the next day, they take Sarah's phone. Sarah gives them the phone, signs the consent to take the phone, take it to, they have a phone extraction people at the sheriff's department where they can take it and take out all the data, all your phone calls, text messages, photographs, videos, all that. And they find these two videos. Sarah's not aware, she doesn't remember making the video. You can imagine.
Whoa.
She gives them the phone.
Anomalacaris.
Well, she makes no attempts to do anything other than, here's the phone. So they tell her, you're going to get your phone back tomorrow. We'll bring it back to you tomorrow. Well, they end up having a conversation with the female detective, homicide detective, Hobson is her name, Chelsea Hobson. And they end up, Deputy Hobson was pregnant. Or Detective Counsel friend. They said, hey, we're not going to bring your phone. I'm not feeling good. I'm pregnant. Can you come to the sheriff's department? Which Sarah Boone was to tell you that was what I was going. That's what they told me I was going to the sheriff's department for. Well,
Sarah,
instead,
they're allowed to lie to you. Let me tell you this. This is why you don't talk to the cops without a lawyer, because they can and will lie to you. They're allowed to lie to you. So fucking just go talk to the cops. with a lawyer. And it's completely, like, Sarah, it sucks, but it's legal for them to do that, so.
Going to arrest her. They made their mind up already. And they were going to confront her and try to get her to confess based on the 2 videotapes. And so there's approximately a 2-hour interrogation that was on the 25th in the afternoon. When she got there to get her phone, they said, well, we got to come up here. We need to talk to you. And they got her in the room. It's a small room, but it's being videotaped and audio taped. And it goes on for about 2 hours of them trying to get a confession to murder. And it doesn't happen. But Sarah lies. She's scared. She can tell they're trying to pin her on this, that this was some kind of...
The fact that she's saying this, and there's people who genuinely, like, do give false confessions and shit, is just, like, another layer of Sarah being just disgusting and being like, I need to be I'm the victim. Like, girl, that, first off, that's your fault for not talking to a lawyer. Second off, you were, like, defiant against these people. I don't think you were afraid. This bitch straight up said, guys, you're killing me, after killing her fucking boyfriend. Like,
intentional act, and it was not.
Not intentional.
So she lies. She's not a lawyer. She doesn't know about self-defense. She doesn't understand she has a lawful right to defend herself. She doesn't understand that she's justified in using the force that she used. She doesn't... I wasn't there to advise her. No lawyer was there.
She has to specifically request one. Again, not the ideal for defendants, in my opinion. But you do specifically have to say, I want a lawyer. You can't allude to that you want a lawyer. You can't, like, jump around. You can't, like, you can't beat around the bush. You have to say, I want a lawyer, and I'm invoking my right to stay silent and do not want to answer questions. Like, you have to physically say this shit, because they don't want any wiggle room for them to get, like, busted on something, because they want to solve a crime. They want to get a conviction in. And I'm not saying they're trying to force a conviction out of somebody, but, like, you got to be specific.
So she lied. And you're going to hear that. So you're going to have to balance that versus her taking the stand and testifying before you. And we simply ask that you look for the evidence of cooperation of her testimony. It's going to be later, probably next week.
I love how he's so confident that her testimony, he's confident that this is going to last more than a week. Doesn't this only last like 6 days? And the jury finds her guilty within like an hour and a half. Like, there was, and they ate dinner too. Like, I'm pretty sure they ate dinner for an hour and then spent 30 minutes being like, oh, so, like, we think she's guilty, right? Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. And, like, the rest of the time was just filling out the papers.
The judges will tell you in reading instruction on evaluating a witness's credibility. And they'll talk about corroborative evidence, other evidence that's consistent with the testimony that Sarah Boone did.
Hey, Bailey, I had really bad cotton mouth and couldn't find any Dr. Pepper. Can I please just go in there and grab my Dr. Pepper? I have cotton mouth so bad. Like, girly, no, shut up. Drink from the spigot like the dog you are.
You're going to have to weigh that. in her testimony. Now, self-defense, we talked about it in jury selection, usually a gun, some deadly weapon. The suitcase in this case was a physical restraint or a blocking of an attack, but it was unconventional.
Unconventional and not intentional.
Self-defense nonetheless. Now, as I said, the struggles that occurred, many of them involve the police. So you're going to actually hear from some of the police officers. Maybe some body cam footage. You're going to see some photographs that they took.
He's too big. He's too big for the
aquarium. Some
aquarium.
of the videos you may see of her in a very happy, joyful type of thing. Well, number one, she's intoxicated. Number two, she's safe. The police are there. So her attitude is not one of distress.
Oh, he's trying to get ahead of her, like, fucking skipping out her house, being like, yay, the police are here! To come fucking arrest George. Like, bitch. She is so vile.
We're here today, full packed courtroom. Judge Craddock's here, but you're the most important people because you've got to decide this.
Also, for further, like, something further to think about, the jury is, I think it's 6 people, and all of them except for one juror are women. So you would think, like, because women are more often than not, like, the victims of domestic violence, which I'm not saying men can't be, but so, like, you would think, like, oh, okay, this is, like, your best bet of maybe getting a self-defense because you could have, a juror who has gone through something similar, or just, the cards were really stacked in her favor, and she still fucking lost.
Case, honestly, fairly, and according to the law. And we talked about the 2 biggest principles from the Constitution that apply. In this case, and in every case in which a citizen like Sarah Boone is brought into a courtroom and accused of a crime. The first is, you as a juror must presume or believe that Sarah is innocent. And that belief stays with you throughout the entire trial. Because of that, she doesn't have to prove anything. That's why the state went first in jury selection. That's why the state went first today. That's why the state will go first putting on their case.
One of them, either the 6 jurors or 8 alternates, was a domestic violence with an open case. Yeah, so, like, she had the jury really... Ruben, what are you fucking doing? The jury really, like, was... I don't want to say, like, in her favor, but, like, that if she wanted to go with the self-defense, like, domestic violence thing, like, she got, like, the best jury for it. And they still were like, bitch, no.
They have the burden of proof, and it's the highest burden we recognize in any type of litigation in this country. Proof beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. You are going to have doubts about this case. But the most important thing is not to rush to judgment, to keep an open mind, and understand there's 2 sides to this case. There's their side and there's our side. So you can't form any fixed opinions early on. That's hard.
I would be the worst juror because, like, my ass would immediately just be like, no, guilty. No, I wouldn't be like that. But, like, I'm probably not a good candidate for a jury because I like true crime and shit, and I know they don't tend to pick jurors who are into that, or, like, ask my feelings on the police, Which it sucks because like I've wanted to be called for jury selection so fucking bad, but they won't do it. I'm 30 years old and they still haven't fucking called me for jury duty. Bitch, I've been an adult for quite a while.
To do, as Mr. Henderson said in jury selection. That's extremely hard.
God, it's been so long since I streamed that I turned 30. Like last time I streamed I was 29 and here I am in the 30s.
Now you're going to hear some testimony. There's been mention of experts. Battered women's experiences affect her perception of imminent danger. Battered women's experiences affect her perception of imminent danger.
Okay.
Victims of repeat violence may fear death in a situation others would not. After hearing both sides of this case,
Oh, honest, were they? They probably were like, "No, you're too funny. We can't have you making jokes here because you would just sway all the other jurors with how silly you are." Took 3 days and I still didn't get called. You know what else I like to do sometimes? I like to just go to the courthouse and like chill and watch all the cases. Yo, okay. Speaking of murder cases, the case that my mom was an alternate for, they like somebody, I forget who, there was actually finally some kind of fucking documentary made about it, and I'm just like, Mom, you should do a stream about it. You should stream about the fucking murder case you were an alternate for, because that shit's crazy. Like, a brief rundown. It was like a marijuana, like, smuggling operation, and I think what happened was somebody... It was like an organized, like, crime thing. And somebody took money, and he wasn't supposed to, and they killed him and cut him up in a bathtub. They didn't even ask me anything. I would be pissed. I'd be like, no, I'm the perfect juror for you. Listen, I have autism and I am really good at pattern sensing. So like I could solve the mystery before the prosecution can, okay? Okay?
we're confident you're going to have a reasonable doubt. And we're going to ask you to follow the law and do justice in this case. And find Sarah Boone not guilty. Because it's the right thing to do.
What about George? Okay, we're through the opening statements. So let's see what we can get through before I get too sleepy. All right. Next is Juan Torres, George's brother. Oh no, this is gonna make me sad. Are we gonna be sad? Guys, we're gonna be sad.
Mr. Torres, raise your right hand, please. Sworn, please. You swear or promise the testimony you should give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Sir, good morning. You could be seated. And once seated, if you would state and spell your name for the record for us, please.
Juan Torres, Juantorres.
Thank you, sir. You may inquire, Mr. Cacciatore.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you tell us how it is that you know George Torres?
He's my older brother.
Oh.
And how many siblings do you have?
6 or 7.
And how long has your family resided here in the Central Florida area?
20 plus years.
And before residing in the Central Florida area, were you guys in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania?
Yes, sir. In Massachusetts.
Your
Oh, he looks nervous.
brother, how often, your brother George, that is, how often would you talk with him?
Often we would talk, I'd say, on a weekly basis.
And how far away did you live from George?
About 5-10 minutes. Pretty close.
Would you see him pretty often?
I would try not to go over there too much.
Who was George
I wonder why he tried not to go over there too much.
living with at the time that he passed away?
Wait, Sarah?
And without getting into many details, what was your relationship like with Sarah?
We didn't really have a relationship.
Would it be fair to say you didn't get along with her?
Yes.
He's like, fuck that bitch.
Back on February 23rd, 2020, did you have an occasion to talk to your brother on that day?
Yes, sir.
And when you spoke,
Polynomial pervert, I'm jealous. I want to go to on jury duty. Cause one, I find this shit interesting, and two, I wouldn't have to go to work.
with your brother on that day, did you FaceTime with him or did you speak with him over the phone?
We talked on the phone.
Was that phone to your ear or was that phone?
It was on speaker.
And who was present?
My wife and my 2 kids.
And without telling us anything that George may have said to you, can you tell us what the topic of that conversation was?
We were just talking like we normally did. He just calling me to check on me, basically.
Now, in the background of that conversation on the evening of February 23rd, 2020, what did you hear?
Oh boy.
Sarah's in the background yelling.
Of course she was.
You recognized her voice?
Yes, sir.
What was she yelling about?
Something about choking or how he choked her. I really don't. That was it.
About how long was this conversation that you had?
Oh, is this the brother that like beat the shit out of George for hitting Sarah?
10 minutes, I think it was.
How did the conversation end?
Because she was yelling in the background, so that was it. We just went out.
Did she sound upset?
She sounded upset.
Did you talk to your brother after that conversation?
No, that was the last conversation I had.
Oh my god. That is the last conversation he had with his brother, with Sarah screaming in the background.
Have you ever spoken to Sarah since that conversation?
No.
I have no further questions.
Any cross-examination?
All right, so my prediction is Mr. Owens is going to be like, so how cool and awesome do you think Sarah is? And that your older brother was a big stinky mean face. gonna cross-examine? Oh, they go cross-examine. What could they possibly have to ask this guy? Because the prosecution, they really just, I'm assuming they called him here so that they could have kind of an idea of Sarah's mood when before this happened. Who's that guy? Other attorney? So she's got 2 attorneys!
Beginning, when you started, it was hard for me to hear, but I know you were talking about other siblings, other family members that you had here. Could you repeat that for me, please?
Here in Orlando, I have 1 sister and 3 brothers.
Sister and 3 brothers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did your brother George Torres, did he ever stay with you at any time?
No.
Would he ever live with you or any of, I mean, not you, but any of your other siblings?
No.
This bitch has an entire legal team. I gotta say, they're at least trying to defend her, I guess.
All right, sir. Let's go back to this phone call that you were talking about that was on February 23rd of 2020, and that phone call was approximately 7:30. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And who called who?
He called me.
And then y'all were talking. Is that
Okay,
correct?
I guess they're trying to establish like a timeline.
Yes, sir.
All right. And when he called you, did you notice anything about his speech or his voice?
No, he was fine.
Sounded normal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So he wasn't slurring his words or anything like that?
No.
By the way he talked or what he talked to you about, could you tell at that time if he had been consuming alcohol?
See you, girl. I'm like not far behind going to sleep. I'm thinking at like 3 I'm gonna head out, but we'll see.
No. Because I knew when he would drink.
Okay. So in your opinion at that time, based on what you heard and what he was talking about, you do not believe he had been drinking alcohol?
No.
Now, you said you heard Sarah.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? How did you know it was Sarah?
I can tell her voice.
You recognized her voice. So you could hear her. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And you've heard Sarah speak before that time. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you've heard her speak on the phone before that time. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you said that Sarah was yelling. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
And she was yelling about, he's choking me. Or tell him about choking me.
Yes.
Okay. During that conversation, and you heard her say that, did you ask your brother, what is she talking about?
No, I did not.
Did that statement at that time, did that statement surprise you?
Not really.
You've heard it before?
No.
I guess he's just used to Sarah's like crazy ass bullshit.
Based on Sarah's voice that you've heard, was it any indication to you that she had been drinking?
No.
No? Sir, at some point, your brother said he had to go, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did he hang up on the conversation?
Yes.
And did he say bye and you say bye?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I don't have, if I can confirm.
You may, sir.
We getting rebuttal? Or are they done? They done with him? Is the prosecution gonna rebut anything?
Sir, other than siblings, your mother and father, do they live in this area?
Why is that relevant?
Were there times that George would stay with them?
Yes, sir.
Why is that relevant?
Thank you, sir. No further questions.
Any redirect examination?
No, Your Honor.
Can this witness be released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Actually, we'll keep him subject to recall, Your Honor.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
All right, sir. You're released subject to recall by either party. Thank you.
All right. Now let's get to the next witness. Ooh, of course I'm catching a fish right when I want to switch to the next witness. Hold on, let me figure it. Oh, so sleepy. All right. So we got Juan Torres, the Publix assistant manager. I guess to confirm that they went and bought beer. Shady second lawyer, shady expert witness. Sarah. Okay, Paulo Purebred, I mentioned it earlier, but I love the jail reports from Sarah because fucking she got in trouble for hoarding cheese, and I find that very funny. Hi, Ruben. Are you getting in trouble for hoarding cheese? Are you gonna hoard cheese?
Raise your right hand if you sworn, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you should give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir, good morning. You can take a seat and please state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Devin Jamro. That's Devinjamro.
Thank you. You may inquire, sir.
Sir, who do you work for?
I work for Public Supermarkets.
And what is your position with public supermarkets?
I am the assistant store manager.
And
Man, this guy is like, sorry, Bob. I have to take off work because that fucking crazy suitcase lady's court case is finally happening.
at what location?
Currently the Castleberry location.
Were you at the location on Goldenrod and University Boulevard back in February of 2020?
Yes, I was.
Oh, giant
Your Honor, may I approach the
marlin.
witness which has been previously marked for identification as States D and been shown to defense?
D is in Delta?
D is in Delta.
Yes, you may.
Oh, what are we gonna see? What are we gonna see? I want to see. What is it?
Sir, I'm showing you it's been marked for identification as States D. Could you use these scissors and open this and look at the contents of this package to yourself?
Sure.
Oh, he's got to cut it open himself so they can prove that like there's no funny business. I see. I would be so fucking nervous. I'm like, oh no, I'll cut the package.
Sir, do you recognize those items?
I do, yes.
And tell us, what are these items?
These are Publix receipts.
Are these receipts evidence of transactions at Publix? Are they made at or near the time of each transaction?
They are absolutely made at the time of the transaction.
And is it in the normal course of business that Publix keeps these receipts?
Yes.
And these fairly and accurately appear to be the receipts from your Publix store?
Yep. Yeah.
Your Honor, at this time I'd like to move what's previously been marked for identification as States D into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection?
What was pre-marked as
as
States
in
D will
dink.
be received into evidence without objection as States 1.
Ramona.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness who's been previously marked for identification as States J and shown to defense?
You may.
Look at that guy up there.
Sir, I'm showing you it's been marked for identification as States J. Can you take a look at that disc?
What is that? It's a disc.
Yes.
Do you see your initials on that disc?
I do.
Did you have an opportunity to look at that disc prior to coming to court this morning?
I did, yes.
And tell us, what is that disc?
This is CCTV footage burned from the camera system at the location.
And at Publix, is it the regular practice of Publix to utilize surveillance cameras?
Yes.
And in the normal course of business, are the videos from those surveillance cameras kept?
Yes.
And are these the cameras taken from February 23rd, 2020?
So I guess it's more timeline establishing of like, hey, they went and bought the booze on this date.
And I believe there's 2 video clips included. One
I cannot wait to see these bottles of wine, because almost a 2-liter of wine.
at 12:17 p.m. and another at approximately 5:39 p.m.
Yes.
And they fairly and accurately represent the surveillance
Shark.
video that was submitted from Publix to law enforcement in this case.
They do, yes.
Your Honor, at this time I'd like to move what's previously been marked for identification as States J into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection?
What was pre-marked as States J will be received into evidence without objection as States 2.
And I have no further questions for this witness.
Any cross-examination? Can this witness be released?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You're released.
Thank you.
Have a great
All right, cool. We's moving through the witnesses pretty fast. Publix manager. The 911 call taker. And this one's only a couple minutes too. We might get through this. Day 1. So like a stream for each day. That's not too bad. So it'll be like 6 or 7 streams. Alright, this is the one who took the 911 call. This is the queen that when Sarah was like, my boyfriend is dead. Please stay on the line. We will connect you to police and fire department, or to the fire department.
Ma'am, good morning. Could you state and spell your name for the record for us?
Okay. Joan, Joan, Williams, Williams.
Thank you, ma'am. Counselor, you may inquire.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Can you tell us what it is that you do for a living?
I'm a 911 call taker at the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you held that position?
24 years.
And tell us, what are your duties as a 911 call taker?
I answer phones for emergency, non-emergency, medical, which I transfer to the medical side of the business.
And is it the regular practice of Orange County to record 911 calls?
All lines are recorded.
And is it the regular practice of Orange County to keep records of each of those 911 calls?
Yes.
And those records are made at or near the time of each call, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness which has been previously marked for identification as states L and been shown to defense?
You may.
Ma'am, I'm showing you what's been previously marked for identification as states L. Do you recognize this disc?
Yes.
More discs, more discs,
Did you have an
more
opportunity
discs.
to review this disc prior to coming to court this morning?
Yes.
And those are your initials on the disc?
Yes.
And does this disc, does it fairly and accurately represent the 911 call that you took in this case on February 24th, 2020 at 12:59 hours?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time I'd like to move what's previously been marked for identification as states L.
Okay, so I think they're both setting up the timeline and they are prepared. I'm not a lawyer, so, but I think what they're doing is they're, identifying the evidence and being like, yes, this is the exact evidence that we say it is. So he showed her the disc that had the 911 call on it and was like, you can verify that this is the disc with the 911 call on it, I guess for the jury's sake.
Into evidence?
Any objections?
No objection.
It was pre-marked as states L will be received with no objection as states 3.
And Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Any cross-examination?
No, sir.
Right. Can this witness be released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Yeah, right, Ruben? We're like going through witnesses. I guess we just, all right. Yeah, Ruben. The next door neighbor. I've seen a little bit of this guy. Hold on, give me just a second. Catch this dang fish. This will probably be the last one we get to tonight. But we'll see.
Raise your right hand and be sworn. Please be swear or affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Sir, you may be seated. After you're seated, if you can state and spell your name for the record for us.
It's Vincent Battaglia, Vincent Battaglia.
Thank you. Sir, you may inquire.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you tell us what it is you do for a living?
Hi, Ruben.
Right now I work for an auto parts company,
And where do you live?
New Jersey.
Back on February of 2020, where were you
This
living?
man was like, I live next to a bitch who killed her boyfriend. I'm leaving. I'm going from Florida all the way to Jersey.
Living at that time.
I was living at the Tealwood Apartments in Winter Park, Florida.
And what were you doing at that time when you were living at Tealwood?
I was enrolled in Full Sail University. I was in school.
When you were living at Tealwood, did you have any roommates?
Yeah, I had one roommate, Brandon.
They were roommates.
Yeah, that was it. Them.
That's Brandon Motes?
Yes.
Did you have neighbors?
Yeah.
Were you neighbors with Sarah Boone and George Torres?
Yes.
And approximately how long were you neighbors with them?
About a year. A little over a year. I moved there in January 2019.
Oh, God, that sounds so exhausting living near them.
And during the course of that year that you were neighbors with them, did you have occasion to interact with them at times?
Yeah.
in fact, did you ever go over to their home?
Yeah, like a couple times, yeah.
And I believe you tuned a guitar for the child there at the house?
Yeah.
This Tealwood apartment complex, how would you describe the walls that separated your units?
Thin, like very thin walls.
And with those walls being so thin, would you ever have occasion to hear arguing and yelling coming from Sarah Boone and George Torres's apartment?
Yeah.
How often would you hear this?
Almost daily.
Jesus. Daily? How do you even find that much to argue about?
Did Sarah Boone ever approach you about the things that you heard coming from their apartment?
Yes.
Oh no.
And where were you when she approached you?
I was smoking a cigarette on my back patio.
Oh god.
And approximately what time?
Oh god. This man is just trying to relax after, a day, either a day ahead of him that he has to do at school, or he just had a day of school, or whatever. And then fucking Sarah comes over like, hey, you better not tell anybody about what he's doing over there.
It was
What was this?
pretty late. I can't remember the exact time, but it was definitely anywhere between like midnight to 2 a.m., like right around there.
This poor man.
And do you remember how much before the date when the police called that this occurred?
A few months, probably 4 to 5 months before that.
So 4 or 5 months before February of 2020.
Yeah.
And
I just, this bitch is so, in need of controlling everything. Imagine going to your neighbor and being like, you didn't hear anything. Or you better not tell anybody. Whatever she's gonna say. I'm sure it's gonna be something like that. But, imagine just having the audacity to go to your neighbor and say something like whatever stupid shit she's about to say.
And when she approached you on this late evening / early morning on that day, what did she tell you?
Pretty much just kind of if I do hear anything, through the walls or whatever is out back, just kind of keep my mouth shut. Don't really speak about it or anything like that, or say anything to anyone.
What did I say? What did I say? She's over here, threatening this dude who's on his porch at, midnight having a cigarette. Sarah?
And I just was like, okay.
Did she make any motions with her hands?
Yeah, just kind of finger over the lips, kind of shh, keep it hush, that kind of thing.
So she told you not to report anything you may have heard about arguments or yelling or fighting, anything going on over there?
Yeah.
Oh, my ass would have been calling daily.
Do you recall the evening of February 23rd, 2020?
Bye forever.
I do, yeah.
And what about that evening sticks out to you?
That sticks out to me from that night was literally just there was a very, very loud noise that I heard that was loud and powerful enough to shake my bedroom wall.
Jesus.
And I remember that because I was sitting on my bed on FaceTime with my girlfriend at the time, and I literally felt the wall shake, and it stopped me mid-conversation, and she even asked me through the computer, what was that? And I was like, I have no idea.
Did you hear any yelling coming from their apartment on that night?
Before that, yeah, it was just arguing kind of stuff.
What was the last thing you heard?
The last thing I heard was like the loud noise and just a little bit of shuffling, and that was kind of it.
This man potentially heard like the last moments of George's life, and that is so fucking like insane to think about.
It just kind of went silent after that.
Could you hear anything that was being said?
Not clearly, and it was never really anything clear. It was just like you could hear arguing back and forth, just kind of like and kind of like an I hate you, like it's whatever it is, whatever the argument was about kind of thing. At the time, that's really all it was, but it was never really clear enough to hear like the full argument. And honestly, I never really paid attention too much to it. If I heard it, I kind of stepped into my living room to be.
This guy's like, all right, they're fucking at it again. I'm gonna go chill.
Further away from it.
Did you hear both the defendant's voice and also George Torres's voice?
Yeah. All the time, it was like a back and forth. Yeah.
So, other than the statements and the phrases of I hate you, you weren't able to discern the contents of this argument?
No.
What was the last sound you heard?
The last sound that I heard was like the loud banging noise that, it was like a very odd sounding noise that I've never heard before this day, but it very much sounded like it was where my bed was positioned. It was kind of towards the back of the apartment, and it almost sounded like it was coming towards me, but like on the side of me, then it was just like a loud rumbling noise, like that literally sounded like it was kind of far away from me, and then it like ended up like almost next to me. And like I said, the walls are thin, so like it's very easy to hear like through the walls. And
I wonder what that could have been. And the way he's describing it, it almost sounds like there might have been they might have told this witness that he specifically can't like make an inference as to like, oh, that sounded like something getting thrown down the stairs. Like they probably pre-established that because sometimes they have shit like that in like shit that would be considered like biased, I guess, towards the defendant. So like it would, I guess it could have been seen as like leading, unless he does just straight up say it sounded like something getting thrown down the stairs. We'll see.
not even just sideways, like I hear my upstairs neighbor, like all around, very thin walls.
Now, was your bedroom, where was it located in your apartment?
The back of the apartment, so it was like, there's like a little kick out next to my patio, and that's like, that was my bedroom back there. Like along the grass back there.
On the first floor?
On the first floor, yeah. Yeah.
I have no further questions.
Okay.
Any cross-examination?
Oh boy.
Mr. Cagley, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, you said that you lived there next to Sarah Boone and George Torres for about a year?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that the police were called to their residence
Like,
while you were there for the year? Are you aware of any incident in which the police were called to their residence?
I had never seen anybody there, but I had had other neighbors in the complex tell me that it has been on multiple occasions. So that's why.
Just instead of what somebody else told you.
Yeah.
Just what you would observe. Did you ever, the year that you were there living next to them?
Yeah.
Were you ever aware that the police were called to their residence?
No, the times that I was home, I never saw any police at the apartment there.
Right. And did you work odd hours or you went?
Yeah, and with my schooling and stuff too, I used to have class at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So all the
Damn.
time I was at random moments, like just not home throughout the day and night and stuff like that. So
Homie is just going through it.
Do you have an opinion as to whether or not, based on your?
What? That calls for speculation, right? If man is sitting here like, do you have an opinion? That's just calling for speculation, and usually opinion things aren't... let me let him finish.
interaction with Sarah Boone.
I'm going to object.
Let me finish the question first, please.
Do you know, from your experience with Sarah Boone and your experience with George Torres, that they drank alcohol?
Yeah.
Hang on.
I'll withdraw to that question.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Are you aware that they both consumed alcohol to excess?
Yes.
Thank you. Hold on.
Yes, sir, of course.
Ooh. This witness looks so fucking done. He's like, okay.
Now, Vincent, I think you had testified, you may have given a statement to law enforcement,
Yes, it was one of the detectives.
a recorded statement?
Yes, I can't remember his name, but yes.
Okay, and I think it was on February 23rd of 2020.
Yeah, right around that time, yeah.
I believe you had said that,
I'm going to object this to improper impeachment.
Approach.
Ooh. Ooh. It's getting spicy. Look at Sarah. Look at this bitch. Look at this bitch. Yo, she's got like a pencil pouch over there. Her ass really is just like coloring and shit.
Objection's overruled for now.
Ooh.
sir, would it be fair to say on that date you got home around 7? 7 p.m.
7 p.m.?
Yes.
Which day was this?
Sunday, February 23rd, 2020.
No, that day I actually got home from work probably around 1 or 2 o'clock or so.
In the morning?
No, in the afternoon. Because I went to work that morning at around 5 a.m.
And you said that you heard the normal yelling and arguing at about that time when you got home?
No, it was around that time, but it was really around like 10 o'clock, 10:30 is when like the arguing I could really hear clearly. It was like around 10:30 at night.
Okay. Thank you.
Is this the guy? Is this the guy where the defense like fucks up and like is like, yeah, so in 2009, and this guy's like, I was only like 8 years old in 2009, instead of saying 2019. Ah, no, I don't want to play music. There we go. I accidentally hit my music button instead of the Woo!
Can you redirect?
Just very briefly.
Yes, sir.
So on cross-examination, you were asked about the arguing you heard, and I believe your testimony was that it was pretty intense around 10:30.
Yeah.
Approximately what time was it that you heard this loud, crashing thump sound that you described?
Little after that.
Overruled.
It was a little after that arguing and stuff. It was probably around 11:15, probably 30, 45 minutes after like the arguing I could hear started.
No other questions?
Can this witness be released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Not subject to recall.
We would like him subject to recall. You've got his number.
Okay.
Oh!
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes.
Oh man. This dude is just like, I live in Jersey and I gotta be here. God, that sounds so fun. Like, I never want to be like a witness to shit, because that sounds so annoying. Like, I was a witness for like when my mom got divorced, but I don't want to be like a witness in a criminal case. That shit sounds so annoying. Can you imagine having to fucking fly over there? Look at her. She's scheming. She's figuring out how to play tic-tac-toe. I still can't believe she was playing tic-tac-toe with herself. Like, how do you even do that? That just sounds like lame.
All right, sir. You are released, not subject to recall. Have a great day. Thank you.
Alright, so I think what we're gonna do is I think this is going to be my ongoing series with this, because we are only 3 out of 8 hours. Hold on, how many more? Let me see how many more witnesses we have for day 1. We have... Alright. So there's the roommate of the previous witness. There's Brandon Motes. There's Brian Boone. There's the Abraham Moreno apartment maintenance supervisor. Kayla Rodriguez. Haha, she's got my name is Kayla. Responding deputy sheriff. John Martinez, responding deputy sheriff, and Melissa Rough Gardens. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's about 6 or so more, and it looks like the longest one is gonna be the deputy sheriff, because that one goes from like 5:37 to 6 hours and 35 minutes. So yeah, maybe double my estimation, so like 10 to 12 streams. So we got some work to do, but I'm excited. This is fun. Ezra McCandles was equally Ezra McCandles, that's another fucking crazy ass like thing I want to look at too. But that'll be after Sarah. We're gonna do Sarah first, and we're gonna, Jesus Christ, we're gonna go bald dealing with all this shit. But yeah, it is almost 3 in the morning here, and I'm getting sleepy. So I think I'm gonna call it here. 2 hours and 40 minutes ain't too bad for getting through like a third, almost half of the thing. All right, we're getting there. It's fine. I had fun, and hopefully it won't take me like another 3 months to have another stream. But thanks for hanging out so late, and I will see y'all next time.